So you're probably sitting there wondering, British Fist, why are you reviewing Raw again on a Monday night? Well, we thought with it being an old school Raw and everything like that, and we had Triple H advertised, The Rock advertised, we thought, hey, why not give it a watch? Generally, old school Raws are pretty good. We get a bit of a blast from the past, but back to rundowns next week, I think, MJ.
Wait a bloody minute. Why are you wearing a lockdown shirt in a Raw review or rundown?
I don't know, because I don't have a WrestleMania shirt, that's why. We're the British Fist.
Clutching!
Here to review Raw on the road to WrestleMania. Mr. Parkin here, as you can see, wearing a TNA lockdown shirt. And this guy sitting next to me wearing a Triple H shirt. It's none other than NJ, people.
What's up?
Subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts on this edition of Raw, the old school edition of Raw. I must admit, I do like the old school Raw, but I will say this. Two things I want to mention here. Why I don't understand why they have it on the road to WrestleMania, and also, if they really wanted to go old school, they should have got rid of social media that wasn't around back at that time, which meant that the Tree of Woe show would not be getting a big push on Raw. Just saying.
The thing I want to say about this before we dive into this is, me personally, I didn't really feel that this was like a special old school Raw. It just felt like, oh, we got through old wrestlers in here, and that's basically it.
I don't think this is a very good show. I'm so looking forward to not reviewing this live next week. Took a long break from this thinking, you know, watching it live may be a bit better now, but really to me just seemed like the same old stuff. Let's just do like we usually do, the rundown, and first focus on the in-ring action and booking. So the first match of the evening was our United States champion who could speak 5 different languages, Antonio Cesaro versus Ryback. You know, I think we kind of knew who was going to win this match, but at least the match was competitive, had a pretty decent finish. They didn't make Cesaro look like a jobber.
Seen it. Next.
Mark Henry versus Zack Ryder ended very quickly. Mark Henry gets the win, and that's what he does.
Great. Next.
He just obliterates Zack Ryder. Ziggler versus Miz, a match which we've seen before. The highlight of this wasn't really the match. It was more to Ric Flair. I mean, Flair got the best reaction. The crowd wanted Flair. There
was rumours of it cancelling this thing due to things concerning the Ric Flair, but glad to see it back. It's good that we had the introduction of Ric Flair. Ric Flair being there to celebrate with the Miz afterwards, so I'm glad they're probably going to go somewhere with this again.
Yeah, I like the idea of having Flair, giving the Miz a nice rub by being with Flair. And the Miz wins with a figure 4 leg lock. Ziggler, as your Money in the Bank, typically does the job once again.
I'm thinking, obviously, you've got Ziggler who needs to go somewhere, which we'll go into more detail. You've got Ric Flair and Miz. Again, giving Miz the win when there's nothing to it, I guess it was just for the Ric Flair celebration at the end.
There's still really no direction for either guy going into WrestleMania. I'm just saying. Jack Swagger versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who came out with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Sergeant Slaughter. So they kind of had like the 3 all-American Americans versus Swagger, who's like the all-American American thing. I can see what they're trying to do here. Swagger basically takes them all out with the 2x4. The match didn't even happen.
Next.
So, Team Hell No versus Primetime Players.
Next.
Seen that twice now, haven't we? The Primetime Players come out with Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. He must have been thinking, what jobbers did they stick with me this time?
And that didn't save the match. Next.
Managing Virgil, then managing Primetime Players. Kane and Daniel Bryan win. Brodus and Tensai with the Honky Tonk Man versus 3MB. This pretty much all set up to Tensai winning the match very quickly, and the Honky Tonk Man doing a Jeff Jarrett spot on Heath Slater, which the Slag Daddy would be very pleased to hear. Wade Barrett versus Del Rio. This is a SmackDown main event from the SmackDown I reviewed last week. Del Rio wins pretty clean here. Swagger was on the outside. We'll go into more detail about that. But again, it's another match we've seen before. The face wins pretty clean as general.
Oh, you didn't know! Your ass better call somebody!
That used to be my intro for my channel until I decided that I shouldn't do it because I want to try and get some money from my videos. The New Age Outlaws return. This is a highlight for us. We love the New Age Outlaws.
And this was the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest crowd reaction. Yes, you had The Rock and all that later, but this, when they came in, got the crowd going, the crowd to join in, this was alive, this was good. Yes, the match weren't much to it, But when you have these two great entertainers, great mic workers, doing their stuff in the ring, it actually made this part of Raw at least somewhat decent and very entertaining for the fans.
Shows you what a real tag team should be like, really, doesn't it? And the New Age Outlaws get the win here, as they should have done. Epico and Primo are just jobbers, so what's the point in them getting a win here? So tonight, we thought we were going to get the long-awaited debut of Fandango. No, you need to feel Fandango. It's Fandango.
No! No!
Yeah, we didn't get the... It kind of seems like they're doing a Damien Sandow style thing with him, doesn't it? In the sense that he's not wrestling yet.
I really don't give a rat's bloody arse about this guy who didn't work the first time. He's probably not going to work this time. I don't see much in this. And plus, the crowd was like...
Yeah, you can hear a lot of crickets. I'll say this though, Justin Roberts trying to say Fandango's name, that was hilarious. The Shield had a little backstage promo segment reminding us who wouldn't be facing Taker at WrestleMania 29 from the main event, and they kind of reminded us that, hang on a minute, Big Show, Sheamus, Orton, you're in a feud of us. There's no way that you're going to be facing Undertaker at WrestleMania.
There was really not really much to this. That's the only real appearance they got, and I was just thinking... Okay, the whole thing about this Raw, I'm going to say this now, it really didn't give us much story. The Shield didn't really give much direction apart from teasing something about the main event, but nothing happened.
Apart from the 3 big matches for Mania, which we'll go on to in a minute, there wasn't really too much there this week in terms of storyline advancement. They kind of teased Ryback and Mark Henry, just a tease. There was nothing really there. You just had Mark Henry staring down Ryback and then after his match, he's like, who's going to get in my way? You're thinking, that's probably the best feud they can give to Ryback, isn't it?
You got the tease feeling when they stared at each other. I really thought there was going to be a big stare face-to-face, or maybe they were going to tease Henry and Cesaro, but they didn't do much of that. But I'm hoping they do go on to Ryback and Mark Henry. Yes, Big Show could have been another one, but Big Show is probably going to be wrapped up somewhere else. So go Mark Henry, face Ryback.
Didn't really do much with Swagger Del Rio this week. I mean, you had Swagger taking out Legends, you had Del Rio beating Wade Barrett. Didn't really have too much interaction there. I must admit, I was really expecting a little bit more from this storyline. Maybe they're saving it all for SmackDown.
I really don't think there's much to this show. They've had many opportunities to at least tease something, show something, have backstage segments or something. You've had Swagger appearing on Raw, you had Del Rio appearing on Raw, but nothing really to it. But I still think they've got weeks away, so they've just probably saving it for the future shows.
They've got 5 weeks left. I'll say this though, you need to get Zeb Coulter on the mic as much as possible. And I really wish I could grow one of those beards, just so I could like flick it and twirl it like Zeb Coulter does. Our main event. Anyone else surprised that The Rock and Cena got our main event, considering they're the main event at WrestleMania? I was quite surprised they did. The Rock got a pretty good pop. Apparently, though, it's cold in Buffalo, New York, said The Rock. And then we get to the promo segment. I thought, to be honest, the first half of this promo segment was pretty solid. The Rock cut his promo. You had Cena coming out talking about his failure from last year and how this was responsible for his collapse. Now, this, in my opinion, would have been a lot better if Cena actually had a collapse and actually had a redemption storyline, but no one's buying the redemption storyline. But, I mean, the promo work was pretty decent until they kind of like kept dragging it out, saying, I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you. No, I think I can beat you. No, I know I can beat you.
I was waiting for them to rip each other's clothes off, because the way they were doing it, they were putting each other both over. It got really weird. I thought with these two, the way they're going, it was going to get really weird. They're putting each other over. And The Rock, again, he was saying, I can feel that you're the one I want to beat. Cena was saying, I respect you. It was all this blabber. I really wasn't buying this. And this goes back to what I was saying. The way they were sucking up to each other compared to last year when they were insulting each other. I just thought this really sucked.
You need to do something different. I didn't think the promo segment was all that bad personally, but we need to do something a little bit different with this. You know, the promo segment was solid for the first half, then it kind of dragged on, lost the crowd a little bit. And sometimes it wasn't the promo segment, it was sometimes the little things kind of bug me. You have you have The Rock insulting John Cena, and John Cena smiling, having that little grin after he got insulted. I'm just, you know, it's very silly, it's very petty. You know, no wonder people get a bit annoyed by the John Cena character, I'm just saying. Triple H addressed Brock Lesnar. Pretty short promo. probably one of Triple H's shortest promos. Basically, he found a reason to get a WrestleMania payday, and he wants to finish this thing with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Basically a challenge to Brock Lesnar, wasn't it?
This is all the things. Like, we're getting to here. You've got a tease of the WWE Championship. You've got a tease of Punk and Taker. You've got Triple H and Brock Lesnar. Forget about the World Heavyweight. That's
three big matches,
important.
pretty much, isn't it?
Forget about the World. But with this, again, Brock not being there. Okay, that's fine. You're going to probably bring them both in the ring later on. Triple H gets to the point, says that I want to get you, I want to beat you down, blah, blah, blah. Nice, short, quick. Now it's all about Lesnar coming next week or the week after to give the answer to Triple H. At least this is a start, but I still felt that something more was needed, like Heyman to come out again to speak on behalf of Lesnar, because Lesnar's not there because of his stupid contract, or just something more, but it sets something up for later on.
A Triple H promo that got to the point? Bloody hell. So the big talking point of this week's edition of Raw was who will face Undertaker at WrestleMania 29. The first thing we saw on Raw this week was a video package or something of Undertaker coming out to the entrance ramp, and you kind of had the feeling that this is where they're going to start teasing the whole WrestleMania build of Taker. And then we had the opener of the show with CM Punk coming out saying that he wanted to end the streak, he wanted to take it from the people. You know, I just thought this CM Punk promo was just kind of awkward. Like, you know, I don't know. I just didn't find it very good.
The really thing that got to me straight away was, yes, he acknowledged that he didn't get the job done and blah, blah, blah. But then he quickly moved on to his next thing. You weren't thinking, you know, when you think of CM Punk recently, you think of him complaining, think, oh, I should be the champion. Oh, that title's mine, blah, blah, blah. But this week, he acknowledged it and quickly moved on. I felt that they were trying to move Punk on quite quickly like they should do, but I just felt like maybe he should start complaining and then out comes Taker or something and something like that. I just felt that this weren't really the best way to move Punk on.
I think just in general, this opener, I mean, like, you had CM Punk talking about the streak, and I was like, yes, come on, this is good, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then you had Sheamus come out, then you had Orton come out, and you had Big Show come out. They all want to play a piece of the streak, even though none of these people have won a pay-per-view match in 2013. You know, I'm just saying, and we get the announcement of the four-way match that was going to, you know, announce. I just think there was so much more of a simpler way to get to Punk and Taker, to be honest.
Yeah, straight away I look at this match and I think, yeah, I expected there to be a normal contender made by Vicky and blah blah blah. I was hoping for a little Brad Maddox comedy there, but it didn't happen. But this happened and we got the match made. Fatal four-way to face Taker. Okay, it's just that, again, the thing I pointed out, maybe it's not the biggest thing, but in the past, people fear The Undertaker. I think maybe because of him getting older and that, they're just like, oh, he's getting older, he's not here so often, maybe he's an easier target. These four, let's go for him. I just didn't really feel like the fear of Taker, that he's actually a fearsome challenger for Mania.
And that comes with the fact that he only really appears once a year and that he is getting older. And a lot of people know that he's pretty hurt, I guess. So then we got to the main event of the evening. Randy Orton versus CM Punk versus Big Show versus Sheamus in a match which would determine who was going to face Undertaker. I think we all knew pretty much that CM Punk was going to win this because the Shield cut that promo earlier, basically ruling Orton, Punk and Big Show out of the running. So the match result wasn't really that much of a surprise to me. You got Undertaker coming out after the match, and you got the commentators saying, well, this match is going to be the longest reigning champion versus the longest streak. You know, how do you feel about the way they've packaged this match? Longest streak against the longest reigning champion who is no longer champion.
I'm still like, my opinion is still not changed. This match is going to happen, and yes, it's a match that should happen, but I'm still not buying it. This Raw really got me hyped up for this particular match, but it's going to happen. I'm just not really hyped up.
I imagine they will do a lot more to hype up this match. I imagine this was just laying the groundwork, similar to what it was for Lesnar and Triple H tonight, similar to what it was for Rock and Cena. So this show was really all about laying the groundwork, especially for The Undertaker, which was a big part of this Raw. It was the opener and it was the main event. So it's really the main focus of this Raw. The idea of Taker versus Punk, I don't mind it. As I said in the video where we put out on Saturday night, I'm fine with Undertaker versus CM Punk. I can see why people aren't fine with it. I can understand, but I think if he's not going to be in the main event, that's the next best thing you could do with CM Punk. It's the streak. It's a big motherfucking deal. And overall, this Raw, I don't know, I went in thinking, this is going to be an old school Raw. We'll see some old faces. It's going to be exciting. Maybe a couple of pops from the past. Maybe it'll be at least a watchable live edition of Raw. But really, I came out of it thinking, why, I'm not watching this live again. The
main thing that threw me to begin with was the amount of repeated matches. Instead of giving us something special, most of the old school wrestlers were managed at ringside. They didn't really do much. I really didn't feel that this was the best Raw. It just felt like other past shows combined in one. The special Raw old school wrestlers were just there, it felt like. Mae Young's 90th birthday, happy birthday. But I really didn't feel much speciality to this. Not complaining about the things we got, the quality of the match that we may have got, but I just weren't overly entertained.
To be honest with you, I don't mind the Legends taking a back seat, as I believe, like the Raw 20th anniversary. I believe that's pretty much what they should be doing. I don't think the Legends should be a massive focal part of the show, especially when you already have The Rock, you already have Triple H, you already have The Undertaker being focal parts of the Raw show, who are already big parts of WrestleMania. So I think the Legends taking a back seat isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just felt this Raw in general, as a Raw, just wasn't a very good show. I just really wasn't that entertained by it, and that's a shame. We're 5 weeks away from WrestleMania, and the one time we decided to watch Raw live, I'm thinking, I don't want to watch this live.
I personally am going to forgive this Raw because it's the old school Raw. We're going to build up to Mania, so hopefully they'll pick up, get to more storyline advancing. But this Raw didn't really accomplish much for me.
Do you know what WrestleMania is all about, NJ? It's all about that thing that's going to happen at WrestleMania that I'm really, really looking forward to. They're going to be there, man. This is going to be so awesome.
That is the speciality. So, yes, we've not really heard much from them today, but there's going to be something special for us and for you viewers at WrestleMania.
Bigger than the Undertaker's streak, would you say?
By far.
Anyway, that's been it from another Raw review this time from us, the British Fist. Thank you very much for watching this video, and we say goodbye.